Okay, well, it's Tuesday, and it's not too bad a day out there. Uh, I was walking around with my t-shirt, tennis shoes, and I'm going to spend most of today working on the yard, as long as we don't get rain or the wind don't get too high or something. But I wanted to take the opportunity to get on here and shout out to Thomas Collins and Miyagi. I wanted to talk to you a little bit on here and just go over a couple of things. Part of it is respecting somebody else's channel when we're there. There's certain protocols that are just expected without actually having to hang a sign up and say something. But one of them is we have to be very careful when we have a dispute on somebody else's channel, and there's a good reason for it, and last night you could see why. As the dispute gets started and it starts getting tempers raised, and not just by the two that are involved in the disagreement, but by people that back either side of the disagreement. And I can tell you what's worked best for me when I've run into something like that on somebody's channel, and it's something that Bearded Fisherman likes to say, but the two of us have agreed that we'll just agree to disagree. And then we go about our business after we've discussed it once or twice, no matter if we're on a channel or not. And we don't get heated about it, by the way. You have to have a certain amount of respect, not only for the channel, but the person you're talking to. And this keyboard makes it too easy to get into an insult match, where you're insulting each other or using words that you wouldn't normally use if it was in person. And we really don't want to get to that point. We want to consider everybody that's involved. And last night, really, most everybody came there. They wanted to hear Lisa talk about the court documents. And quite frankly, that's why I was there too. And when I'd known that what was the ongoing dispute between you, Thomas, and you, Miyagi, and I left comments in your channels or talked to you one way or the other, and both of you, I consider both of you friends. And it would be very unfair for one or the other to say, well, you take my part first or not. And it's not a matter of first, okay? Both of you have big hearts. And you wear them on your sleeve. So any misunderstanding at all, and it causes the temper to rise, no matter which one is on the receiving end of a misquote or something that would be construed as being wronging somebody. Now, I know it happens to be over strikes. And strikes on each other has been a touchy subject because for the sites that are monetized, the money is made off from what they can put on their site. So even though it might be fair use, because remember fair use, what it is, okay? A person can do things, whether it be changing the voice or even just doing a voiceover, explaining what's going on in there, and distorting the face somewhat so that it's not necessarily taking somebody's full shot, or simply just shoot an email and ask permission, and then when there's nothing back, all you can do is walk away from it. It's just a matter of respecting each other's channels and how you would feel if you were in that spot. Now, I can see where both were hurt. Both of you felt bad. And the other part is both of you wanted the final word, but you were in somebody else's channel. And if you were on each other's channel, then you can fight it out as long as you want. That's up to the two of you. But when you're on somebody else's channel, it's up to the channel creator how long you can carry it on. And, Lisa tried to get it shut down. And then when it really started rolling, because everybody else was involved too. And both of you have plenty of people that will back either one of you. And most like both of you at the same time. And it really hurts them when they look at two friends having to fight out there, and they can see both sides and feel for both sides. And that's what was happening last night to the two of you. But unfortunately, the recipient of a lot of it ended up being Lisa. And, she just walked into it. It was like, uh-oh, now what? And both of you know that she has a big heart, and she's there her main theme has been to try to help protect John and Michelle and Harley. And most of us that are in there are trying to do the same thing, and each of us do it in our own way, because we're all individuals, and we all have different ideas of how to approach it. And for the most part, we've been on fairly safe ground without having to run these disputes to each other. So, because I think so much of both of you, at least I would like you to do, and I explained a long time ago how I felt about fighting in somebody's channel. I will let the people know how I feel, but I'm going to walk out of the channel so that there's no more fighting. I don't want to be the person that causes a dispute for the channel to lose people that come to it to listen. And there's been several people that got involved in that said they don't want to come back. They don't want to be part of it. And it kind of breaks my heart, because everybody there has been pulling for pretty much the same reasons, and that was to help, like I said before, John and Michelle and little Harley. And it's been a lot of fun to see the things that went up, whether it be the fence or the Christmas for Harley, the Harley Christmas, Harley Christmas in the creek. And I really enjoyed looking at the videos and seeing how everybody that got together and wished her a Merry Christmas, and the things that happened. And we got to see this little girl had a big heart because she wanted to share it with other kids there. She didn't show one bit of stinginess at all, which shows that she has a very good nature and could be a lesson to us. Because quite frankly, our basic thing is a little bit of stinginess, us first, and that's called survival. That's what that is. It's a natural instinct. But when you see a small child that wants to share and was very happy, and every time we've seen a video of her, she's been that way. So I would ask you, at least for the benefit, let's forget our differences, and please do, just like Bearded Fisherman and I, we absolutely are not going to have the same ideas about things. We're different generations. My son is probably pretty close to the same age that Bearded is. And my son and I, we have our arguments. Not many, a lot less now than we did during the growing years when he was in his teens. But we're going to have disputes because his background or experiences, and he's in his 60s, by the way, count a lot. Because he did things that I didn't do, and I did things that he didn't do through our lifetime, if that makes sense. And we both went down pretty much the same road of getting to where we are today, whether it be construction or working sometimes in a plant or And he's wore a lot of hats over the years. And he's got a family of his own, too. He's went through some rough times like a lot of people have. So if the two of you can just settle it long enough so that we can still come together on everybody's channel and listen to what's going on. And if we have a disagreement, we can take it back to our own channel. And most of you know that even that sometimes causes a lot of disputes. It hasn't been that long ago. I came on here and told everybody how I felt about a person I call the benefactor. And Aggie, you had my back through that whole thing. And I appreciate it so much that you had and have the same feelings I did about it. And what really brought it to light more than anything is by lining up the things that he was saying in each channel's chat. And just by nature of looking at that, I know that both you and Thomas would not want to be a party to something like that, of you being lined up and saying, okay, here's how these people think, or whatever it is. In the case of the benefactor, it was something that a lot of people chose they didn't want to be around it, and they have left different channels over it. Not because of what the benefactor was giving out. That's never been in dispute. What was in the dispute was he's making sly remarks at people and getting away with it. That's the dispute. And people that have been in the channels for years have dropped out and said, we don't want no part of it. And I could see some of that particular attitude happening last night. I just said, heck with it, I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. That's the time of night. I'm tired anyway. And a lot of times I drop out and I just said good night and said, everybody, saying good night. Because it's not up to me to get in there and play peacemaker in somebody else's channel. And I could see when Lisa did, it caused a heartache. And she was giving you her opinion from her opinion in her channel, which is her right. And none of us, I don't care who we are, would have a right to say something negative back, because obviously nobody is going to look at a dispute the same way. Nobody out there. Now, Thomas and I didn't get along at the very beginning because I was the aggressor, not Thomas. And later on, after I observed him, and a lot of his friends came on my channel and said, Ray, you're so all wet. And when I looked at it, I could see that I wasn't giving Thomas a chance. I just didn't. And I asked him, I said, look, if you want to come on my channel, you're welcome anytime. And, I'm sorry. I apologize. I really do. And I don't know, if maybe the same day or the following day, he put back on there where I could come on his channel. And I don't think we've had a problem since. And obviously, I was the problem, not Thomas at the time. So I appreciated that he had no problem forgiving my weakness for wanting to pick on him. And it is a weakness, by the way. Now, Miyagi, you've always had my back from day one. And I've told you how I appreciate it. And I can't think of too many people that are as sharp as you are that can see the detail. And you know when somebody is going in the wrong direction. And even in this dispute with Thomas, you had said you really didn't want to call him out as a mole, even though it caused suspicion at the time. And he don't want to be called out as a mole, and that hurt his feelings, and you can tell by the way he was talking. I think this would have been over if either one had not wanted to have the last word. Now, I don't have a problem if I step in the wrong direction and saying, I'm sorry, I did it. And I don't have a problem saying, we're going to agree to disagree. You see, with Bearded and myself, neither one of us had to apologize to the other. And to me, that's where friendship starts growing. When we can look at somebody and say, I don't agree with you, and I might get mad at you, but at least I understand that part of it. And as long as you don't mind when I voice my opinion, I won't mind when you do yours. That's what I would like to see us get back to. And if you would, please do it. Just, I've had to eat my words so many times. You know, at my age, it's you would you would think I'd be more bullheaded at my age, but I'm actually a little more liberal at my age than I was when I was younger. And there's times where I got butthurt and I went after people. And I'm sorry to say that some of them really didn't have it coming because I became so irate. And now, when I look back at it, and I try to stop other people from making those mistakes that I did. It's not that I'm better than anybody, because I'm not. I've walked those paths before. That's why I try to help out somebody that needs it. And for the two of you, I think a lot of both of you. And hopefully, we won't go on anybody's channel to fight it out. I mean, if you want to do it, you know, in the old days, we used to go out behind the barn or the house and have at it. And but we didn't beat somebody into submission either. We got up, and a lot of times we could shake hands and go do our own thing or whatever. Okay, it's just a different way of looking at things. This keyboard has been one of the worst things out there because we can have these disputes and say these names, and if we don't like what somebody's saying, we just shut it off and consider ourselves having won. There is no winning when we're behind this keyboard. That's not winning. What it does is it causes both of us heartaches. That's what it does. And so far, the things that have happened, you know, in the last year have been more positive than negative for each individual in the group that's trying to help Michelle and John and little Harley. And what we've seen in the paperwork was probably a breath of fresh air of something good happening. It looks more like as if the judge is actually looking at the paperwork that was submitted by Bruce. So let's think about it this way. The program last night, that's what it was about. It was going over this paperwork. We got out of sync and got into a dispute, which was unfair to the people in the comment sections. And I'll admit, I got in there and made my little statement or two, and I don't, maybe when I asked it to be slowed down, maybe it made it go in the opposite direction. It can. I don't know what people are going to accept, but the fighting part, we just have to stop it, period. It's not going to do us any good, and we can't do anything on this keyboard fighting with each other. We can look like with all the bravado we want, but it just doesn't solve it. So, just, if you will, I mean, and you're welcome to come back on here, you know, comment on here and say, hey, look, we can try something different. And I know it was over strikes. I think there was misunderstandings within it. Let's go on. Life is going to go on. No matter what we do, life is going to go on out there. Now, as far as I know Thomas had mentioned that people haven't went through what he has, and you know all those. He looked down on some of the little channels, and we all have little channels. And I realize that Thomas hasn't had the easiest life. He hasn't. But I would say that Miyagi hasn't had the easiest life either. And that's why they wear their heart on their sleeve, out here on their arm. coughing because there's a lot of, I get irritated from the pollen out there, and it gets to me. And sometimes we guard ourself, our psyche. And it makes us react to things we wouldn't normally react, depending on how things went that day or last year or what triggered us. Certain things do. And we have to be able to bring ourselves to a halt. And my best way is I take a couple of deep breaths and let them out slow and think about it. And before I've told you, I just, I leave the channel and I go back to my channel, or maybe I'll just listen and make up my mind not to say anymore, because all I'm going to do is add to the strife that's going on. And my intent is not to cause a fight or be in a fight on anybody's channel. My biggest thing is I want to move towards helping the family if I possibly can. And before I would do any harm to that family, I would remove myself completely out of everything. I would not participate in any of that. And I get into a lot of it to watch it because, well, it's not necessarily for the drama. I like to see the results of good people getting together doing good things. And guess what? Both of you, Thomas and Miyagi, have came to here and did very good. And there's an entertaining aspect to both of you. Unfortunately, you both have hearts on your sleeve. You've had some rough times, and you're very protective of yourself. And that causes some problems when either one of you clash, because right away it's a war, and it doesn't need to be. Look at each other from the perspective of, can I find something about him that I like? And forget some of the dislikes. It's kind of like marriages out there. If the dislikes overwhelm the likes, then it's going to be separated out, period. Sometimes you have to make a list to decide whether you want to go on or not. I mean, there's a lot of factors, obviously, in marriage. I was one of the luckiest people that I can think of, and my wife and I, we've been together 62 years, and I still love her. I mean, with my whole heart, and she's fantastic as far as I'm concerned, and she was from the day I met her, and we've been down a lot of rough roads. We've been broke different times and come back out of it, and we've had our battles between each other. I don't know if anybody that's married out there that hasn't had some battles. And I'm not talking about physically. We don't get into physical battles. I was taught not to when I was a kid. My family was dead set against anything like that. Men and women back then, their roles were treated differently than they are today. Women are more independent today as well. Quite frankly, most of them don't need a guy. They can just say, hey, go your way and I'll go mine, and give you that old bye-bye sign. Or maybe the salute, the salute that scared Jeremy out there, two-finger salute. But I'm joking around a little bit with all of you. Just smile and have a good time. Please do it. As far as that, my opinion on the benefactor hasn't changed one iota. I still see the smart remarks. And the other thing, too, that I see in the channel is when this guy comes around, he shames people that aren't giving in the channel. And most of us have called Jeremy out for doing similar things. He collects from some of the poorest people out there. And you can look at the statistics on his channel of the age group that's there. And a big share of them are on fixed incomes. So he don't care whether you give him $1 or 50 cents, or he just, as long as he gets it. And when this benefactor came in, at first everything was, boy, give and make friends and, golden tongue there for a while. And then it turned and went the other way, and he started accusing people. And sometimes he accuses the entire channel. And he went after somebody I didn't think he ever would on a channel. And I thought that was extremely poor taste, and he did get away with it. So when that happens, just like anything else, if a creator accepts it, people like us, if we're out there and we're in the comment section, if we don't like it, we have the right to just walk away from it that day or that night, whatever. And if we make a comment on our own channel, that's fine, but not in that person's channel. We don't want to embarrass them. All we do is strengthen the strength of the benefactor. When we get in there and we start making remarks, we strengthen what he is able to do, because he has been able to get enough people that like what he's doing, and they're not looking at the negative remarks that he does on every channel, every night that he is on there. He gives, but the things he says while he's giving. And what happens to a lot of people, they get butthurt. And it splits off, and some people leave and don't come back. So effectively, what's happening is the channel starts losing base, a good base. Eventually, when that base is gone, the channel will disappear. Now, when people get in a fight, like what was going on last night, people take sides. And during the fight, people start leaving. And some say, I'm done. I don't want any more of it. I won't come back. The subject line got changed, and people divided between two sides. Our best bet is, if we're going to have that argument, let's go to our own channel, have the argument, but let's be forgiving to a certain extent. Understanding that it's easier to insult somebody with a keyboard than it would be if you were in person, standing right in front of them. So, I commend both of you for the way and the things that you've done in the past. And a lot of it, you probably won't get along all that often, because you guys have big hearts. You wear them on your sleeve, and sometimes you're going to get butt hurt, and it's hard to accept it because of the things that you've had to protect yourself from in your life up to date. Going through some hardships, going through the fire, can make you very suspect of anything that's said to you or done to you. And you're immediately ready. You go into an adversary position, and it can cause problems that shouldn't be there. And I can't think of too many people out there that don't have the goodness that both of you do. Both of you are out there helping everything you can do. Thomas helps everybody that asks for help in that little town over there that's down the road from him. Yeah. Oh, well, I took up close to a half hour here. Most people are only going to stick around 5 minutes. But a shout out to you, Thomas, and you, my Aggie. You're a couple of my favorites out there. And I hope that you can shake hands and come back to the chats and be like everybody else. I look forward to working with both of you. I know that you guys can bury the hatchet without burying it in each other. Like I say, when we have somebody in the channel that likes to use the part that says we can agree to disagree. And if you can do that, agree to disagree, then you can move on to the next chapter of being out there and having a good time on these channels. So let's go have a good time, and I'll see you on my next one out there. One of the reasons I'm a little leery about having live shows, quite frankly, is like what happened to Lisa last night, and we don't want that to happen to somebody else. The fighting, when it gets out of hand, too many people get hurt, and we don't want that. Well, with that, I'm going to let you go, and I want you all to have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one.